the infamous list of TV's most grating characters. From the relentlessly whiny to the perpetually clueless, there's no shortage of contenders. Here are 25 insufferable characters that netizens say should never be seen on television again. Let's get into the scathing comments and cheer together. One netizen ranted about Emperor Qianlong from Story of Yanxi Palace. I haven't finished the Story of Yanxi Palace yet, but I can't stand the emperor. He's the biggest creep I've ever seen and is insufferable. He has the worst temper and flip-flops between whichever concubine he likes, and I highly doubt he has ever truly loved any of them. Another viewer expressed frustration with Changhing from Love Between Fairy and Devil. Changhing was a useless whine and totally unnecessary to the plot. I just hated every incarnation of this character, and he only got worse as the show went on. Different netizens shared their thoughts on Dao Mingxi from Meteor Garden. Dylan Wong's character in Meteor Garden was misogynistic and had violent tendencies. I know that's what was in the graphic novel and he portrayed it less violently than Boys Over Flowers, but still it felt out of place for a recent remake. When I watched it as a teen I was giggling so much and it was even one of my faves, but now that I look back at it, his character was absolutely disgusting. The way he did so many borderline stuff to the female lead and even forcing himself on her when she didn't want it. And it was excused because he was just misunderstood, but in all honesty he was just a rich bully, another chimed in. Lots more voiced their displeasure with Yihua from Eternal Love. I actually really disliked the male lead of Eternal Love. While I died and went to heaven every time he kissed the female lead, he completely screwed her over by taking away her eyes knowing full well that the vamp had framed her. He was pretty much a complete coward in front of the Heavenly Emperor and too focused on playing political games to defeat the enemies. He also tied Bai Qian up to keep her safe during the final battle, which just shows complete unappreciation and disrespect for her abilities. Yihua is a coward for not doing what he should, then hiding what he did. Ma Yuan is a better man. I don't understand why everyone loves Yihua. His love for the female lead feels so selfish, added another viewer. A viewer criticized sect leader Yao from The Untamed. He was a bag of hot air, no brain cells, and gossiped like a fishwife. Another netizen expressed their dissatisfaction with Zhao Xiaoqian from Time Flies and You Are Here. He was very immature and emotionally abusive. He took his anger and angst out on his female lead, who he supposedly loves, and she took all of his abuse until he became mature and decided to cherish her. One viewer shared their frustration with Yuan Shui from Love is Sweet. I hated that he constantly did what he thought was best for Zhang Jun without ever stopping to consider that maybe he didn't know best about everything. He also took control of various aspects of her life, such as her living situation, without her knowledge or consent. I hated how arrogant and self-important he was. I don't know if I've ever been as annoyed by a Chinese male lead as I was by him. On Li Xiaochuan from Love is Sweet. The character makes me want to wring his neck. Regarding the Moon Immortal uncle from Ashes of Love, the worst character in the whole show. He could have easily defused the whole conflict early on, instead he escalated it where he could. Viewers' frustration with Jean Mi from Ashes of Love. Couldn't watch Ashes of Love because she was so stupid. A second netizen had this to say, yeah, I dropped this show too because her stupidity was too much for me. I skipped to final episode just to see the ending and that's it. I can't really think of a lady I disliked with anywhere the same level of passion. And another one, I understand that mom gave her a pill just so she wouldn't feel anything, but the way she acted through the drama is so childish and annoying. I don't get why the male leads fell in love at all with her since I don't see any attractive traits, another netizen added. Opinions on Su Feng from Ashes of Love. I hated him, so I couldn't continue that drama. Literally was rooting for the female lead to never love him. By the end of that show I violently hated his face. I found his character so frustrating. He was a poster child for spoiled rich and entitled. It was beyond annoying to me. Can I mention the male lead from Ashes of Love too? The fact that he slept with Jinmi against that Phoenix Treeway before she was fully aware of her emotions put me off his character through the end. He was such a weak-minded coward. On Ruin You from Ashes of Love. He was a complex, morally gray, well-written character. The annoyance was from his manipulation of Jean Mi and his refusal to accept that Jean Mi didn't love him. He was so toxic. He was definitely attractive AF though. About a character in Sword and Brocade. I can't remember his name, but there's a guy in Sword and Brocade that I wanted to set on fire. This violent selfish asshat stomps into their house, demanding women as wives and being so unhinged and violent. I even felt bad for the mean sister cause she briefly ended up with him. He was awful. I couldn't stand his stupid face. Regarding Sulingi's mother from Sword and Brocade. The mother-in-law is a real piece of work. She picks all of her son's wives. She is snobbish, biased, hypocritical, is completely illogical and plays the matriarch card all the time to get her way. This character turned the drama into some bizarre edition of Survivor where the contestants are parachuted into Ming Dynasty where they need to survive the mother-in-law of all obstacles and win the heart of the dude. On Gu Jin from The Last Immortal. Gu Jin is currently getting on all 9 of my nerves. I know Zhao Lucy took this role because the main male character was written as a naive, immature idiot, but Wow did not expect it to be quite as true as it currently is. Regarding Hao Chen from Love and Redemption. That drama hit me in the face. That second male lead made my blood boil, and every time he suffered I would laugh in his face because he deserved the worst of the worst. A viewer's opinion on Xuanji from Love and Redemption. Listen, I'm not always bothered by female leads that constantly cry out. I try to give them a fair shot and find it endearing if I possibly can. I got so sick of hearing Sifeng's name and I just couldn't help it. I also had some hopes for interesting things they were going to do with her character that made her actual arc a bit disappointing. A viewer's opinion on Louis from Under the Power. That man was truly awful. You think at first that he's supposed to be the cold male character with a secret heart of gold, but really he's just a misogynistic asshole. Regarding Xie Xiao from Under the Power. He was so freaking annoying and childish. He had the baddest be in love with him, but he just wanted to play around and avoid growing up. He also kept chasing Yuan Jinxia even though she was clearly not into him like that. Regarding Emperor Qianlong from Rui's Loyal Love in the Palace. He was selfish, egotistical, and easily manipulated and blinded by others. I don't think I've hated any character more than the Emperor in Rui's Royal Love in the Palace. On Prince Shou from Court Lady. Prince Shou from Court Lady is a sleazy scumbag with salty pig hands that can't take no for an answer. One of the most annoying characters, and I never will be able to separate the character from the actor. Regarding Concubine Lin from The Story of Ming Lan. There are a few characters that I want to slap more than once, but her the most. Anytime she or her children are in trouble and the father tries to punish them, she cries hysterically or passes out, and the father is so in love with her that he's all like, oh my gosh, never mind. And I'm always like, are you really falling for this shit? Kinda glad the way she ended up dying. Another comment on the other characters in The Story of Ming Lan. Minglan's father is an asshole. Through and through. Selfish bastard. The second wife and daughter also. They were absolutely awful. On Han Shuo from Romance of Tiger and Rose. I hate that guy. He is so awful. He makes a threat about giving Qin Qian to bandits and it's implied they'll SA her. He's so back and forth between being nice and mean that he feels insincere about his feelings. He ruined the show for me. A viewer's thoughts on Bai Zihua from The Journey of Flower. This dude is abusive, and when Hua Qiangu suffers for him, I just feel depressed for her. This dude would rather rip his skin off instead admit that he loves her, and when Hua Qiangu started to fight back, I was rooting for her. Regarding Ling Yizhou in Well-Intended Love. Funny thing is I've forgotten his name due to that train wreck of a drama. What he did to Xiao Lin is straight up illegal and the doctor should get his license revoked and face jail time. Which comments do you disagree with? Let me know in the comments.